Recently, Apple released the latest iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Max, of course, and also the iPhone Mini. What is impressive about this is that Apple always actually really nails it out of the park, has a new revolutionary device. Even the cheaper phones are going to be OLED, so that's pretty impressive. The question is whether you should buy Apple stock. And what do you think, Danny? The thing about technology companies, sometimes they reach their peak and then decline. But if you think about it, who is going to enter the the smartphone market next? Doesn't look like there's anybody new. There's the Samsung, Google, and there's Apple. And Microsoft, they gave up. They realized, you know what, we suck. We're not going to continue, right?
I think that people will upgrade their phones because if you've ever been to a big event and you use your phone, you cannot really use it because everyone's using it at the same time. But with 5G, that won't matter anymore because it can handle the thousands of people in one little area.
That's true. That really makes it a very modern device. And I personally think in this day and age, one thing that people like about Apple products is they don't spy on you. Every other technology company, they make their money by basically monetizing how you use the site and all that stuff and listening to you or watching all your preferences. Apple doesn't do that. They don't care what you do and they don't try to spy on you. So I think that's a big selling point. But in terms of finances, return on equity is amazing. It's amazing. It's actually 55% return on equity. You know why? Because Apple doesn't produce any junk and they have intellectual property to keep their stuff protected. Of course, a lot of companies based in China, they just try to rip them off anyway. They try to copy the designs and that's unfortunate. But the reason why Apple is as profitable as they are, they don't focus on making a ton of different categories. They don't make washing machines and stuff like that. They're focused on things that are very, very profitable and they want to be the absolute best in the category. So they do not produce any junk. Although Danny, he's not a big fan of the HomePod. But I said if I were into HomePods, I would think that that's a cool HomePod that they released. What do you think about that?
I didn't really get excited. Oh,
man. He really is thinking. He wants his new iPhone right now. Man, what a brat.
And it will record HDR Dolby Vision.
Oh yeah, and in an event, actually, Apple tried to actually give the impression that you could theoretically use this to make movies. So Apple basically said you could shoot this in Adobe. What was that again?
Dolby Vision.
Dolby Vision, and it basically looks a lot better, and you better color, and it would
more advanced cinematic colors that you won't get with 8-bit. It's 10-bit.
So you know what they'll use this for? They'll use this for real action scenes where somebody's about likely to get crashed, or maybe some indie directors will actually consider using this phone for that purpose. But that is really not relevant for anything in terms of finances. I doubt that they're going to make money from millions of filmmakers, but it's just a good selling point. I think that people will continue to upgrade on these phones because once 5G starts, they're not going to want to stay with LTE. So I think Apple will actually be really surprised by how many people actually do buy this phone in the end. I think that it's definitely going to help them to continue to accelerate. And as they brought up on the event, actually they're way ahead in terms of the speed of their chips too. Like other companies are still trying to catch up with the last year's model.
But nobody needs 5G right now because nothing is open in big event spaces, right?
It doesn't matter. It's actually, it seems like the internet speed of 5G is actually faster than what it is at home. So I think that's pretty impressive. Anyway, I do think that what you have to consider, you have to look at competition. Remember when Nokia was the top of the world and they were just selling, they were basically almost having a monopoly themselves back in the day. Everybody wanted a Nokia phone. Apple wasn't selling phones back then when Nokia was at the top. When Apple entered the market and they were gone. Can you imagine a similar event happening today? And which company would that be? I mean, Facebook, nope. Nobody trusts Facebook to do anything. Snapchat, they couldn't even sell those glasses. Nobody wanted those junky glasses that they were selling. So it's kind of hard to think of another company. I mean, Google's already trying to sell phones, but that's really still a very small part of their business. So when you look at the landscape out there, there really isn't a natural competitor to Apple in terms of a really high quality phone. Who would actually, if the stock were to be hit, it would be because some new competitor really did a lot better job. And I can't really imagine that, because Apple already has the ecosystem. They have the great iOS, and they have cutting edge hardware that's way better than their competitors. So I do think that long term, this is a great company to own. It's hard to imagine. Now, it doesn't mean that it won't happen, but it's hard to imagine another company actually outcompeting them in the iPhone space. Now for PCs, I think that's a different matter. There are a lot of people who are cheap and don't want to spend a lot of money. You could get like a PC for $299, whereas Apple doesn't sell PCs that cheap. So I think for PCs, it's a different story altogether. Actually, it's true even smartphones too. You can get cheap smartphones, but in terms of really high quality smartphones, I don't think anybody's gonna beat Apple for the long run. So that's it for today. Please share to subscribe, click that like button, and we'll talk to you in another video. Let me know what you think of the Apple 12 as well, and the Apple 12 Pro.